Good afternoon. My name is Andy Hallman. Later, we'll hear about New London's Taylor Phillips winning the state title in golf. But first, today's top stories. A Fairfield man was charged with attempted murder Thursday after allegedly stabbing two people and barricading himself inside an apartment. Zachary George Gorey, 35, was arrested around 7:30 p.m. Thursday at 206 East Jefferson Avenue, where he had barricaded himself inside an upstairs apartment for 7 hours. At 12:14 p.m. that day, officers responded to a report of a stabbing at that address and discovered two victims with multiple stab wounds. The identity of those victims has not been released. According to a press release from Assistant Jefferson County Attorney Elizabeth Estee, the two victims were transported to Jefferson County Health Center for treatment and were later discharged with minor injuries. Upon Gorey's arrest Thursday night, he was charged with 2 counts of attempted murder, B felony charges, 1 count of assault on a peace officer, and 1 count of interference with official acts, both misdemeanor charges. He was transported to Jefferson County Health Center, though Estee said this was mostly so that he could be cleared to be released to the jail. Agencies that could be seen responding to the call included the Fairfield Police Department, Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, Iowa State Patrol, and Fairfield Fire Department. Estee said that during the 7-hour standoff with law enforcement, officers attempted different methods to communicate with Gorey to get him to exit the apartment before having to force their way in. Fairfield honored those who lost their lives serving the United States of America during a Memorial Day service Monday morning, May 27th in Central Park. The Reverend Nathaniel Adkins of First Lutheran Church gave the invocation and benediction. Every year, 2 local graduating seniors are chosen to recite General Logan's orders and the Gettysburg Address, and this year the readings were done by Ella Holderbaum and Evie Messer, both of Fairfield High School. The Tarnished Brass Band also performed. The featured speaker was Rachel Brew of the Veterans of Foreign Wars Auxiliary in Montezuma. Brew spoke about her work with veterans in the VFW Auxiliary and how many members of her family have served in the military, such as her father in World War II in the Pacific, her husband as a Marine in Vietnam, 2 brothers in Vietnam, and her son in the Army. Brew told the crowd gathered in Central Park that freedom is not free and that it has come at a great cost in lives. She said that as folks prepare their barbecues and picnics over the holiday weekend, they should take a moment to remember the 1.3 million soldiers who paid the ultimate price to ensure our way of life endures. The Washington County Board of Health voted 3-0 Thursday to tentatively offer current Assistant Director of Nursing, Jennifer Roberts, the job of Public Health Director. The decision came after several weeks of deliberation, including job interviews, closed sessions, reference checks, and private salary negotiations for Roberts, one of 3 applicants for the position vacated by former Director Emily Tokheim. Board member Cody Sallow made the motion to recommend Roberts. He said she felt like the best fit for the role, which oversees Washington County's agency in charge of vaccine drives, disease surveillance, home health visits, and myriad other initiatives aimed at improving community wellness. Roberts was previously discussed as Candidate C in previous meetings, where applicants' names were anonymized. Under that moniker, Board of Health members said very little about the candidate, except that she had strengths worth considering, despite scoring somewhat worse than other contenders in a pair of job interviews. The appointment is not yet official. It won't be finalized until a change request comes before the Board of Health at its June 27th meeting, pending a background check. After that, the decision awaits acknowledgement from the Washington County Board of Supervisors, likely at that group's July 2nd meeting. Now, that vote would happen a day after Roberts' July 1st start date, but it's more of a record-keeping formality then an essential step in the hiring decision. With recent attempts to cut the budget throughout Henry County, the Board of Supervisors changed their meetings from every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. to only meeting Thursday mornings beginning this month. As the Henry County Supervisors settle into their new rhythm of once-a-week meetings, they seek to ensure contact with the public does not decrease, and one small group of citizens consistently attending meetings is more than happy to help. To reach the supervisors outside of the regularly scheduled 9 a.m. Thursday meetings, the public may email supervisors@henrycountyiowa.us or call their office at 319-385-0759, Tuesdays and Thursdays between 9 a.m. and noon. Washington County residents awoke to storm sirens and phone alerts Friday morning around 6:30, including a tornado warning from the National Weather Service. The warning included Louisa, Johnson, and Iowa counties as well, advising ping pong ball-sized hail and radar-indicated rotation where possible in a line from Parnell to near the Washington County Fairgrounds. Washington County Emergency Management Coordinator Marissa Risen said the county had confirmed a brief tornado roughly northwest of Wellman, which damaged mostly outbuildings and barns. She also said reports came in about building and tree damage south of Riverside, but said it wasn't clear whether the cause was straight-line winds, another tornado, or other storm trouble. Risen spent the morning there in the northeast area of the county, where she said trees had fallen on some roads and at least one house lost a window when patio furniture blew through it. Riverside area residents did report seeing a tornado, which they described as jumping through nearby fields, only touching the ground occasionally. Risen said the National Weather Service planned to dispatch staff in the area to verify storm specifics over the following 24 hours. Henry County Planning and Zoning Coordinator Joe Buffington encourages rural Henry County property owners who need E911 signs to apply before July 1st to save money. These address signs, which should be visible from the road, act as useful markers for travelers, mail carriers, and emergency services. Henry County Code states that homes and businesses must display these blue or green address signs. Currently, property owners pay $65 for new or replacement address markers, but as of July 1st, the price will increase to $85. This cost includes the sign and installation. Buffington encourages rural residents to check existing signs or request new addresses now before the price increases. Those are today's top stories. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll hear about New London's Taylor Phillips winning a state title in golf.
Federation Bank is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
Welcome back to Newsbreak, everyone. This is your sports editor, Andy Krutzinger, for your sports report for Tuesday, May 28th, 2024. I hope everyone had a happy and safe Memorial Day weekend. We had a busy weekend leading up to Memorial Day with the end of spring sports. Rest in peace to the spring sports season. It is all over for our area teams anyway, besides maybe a little bit of co-ed golf and tennis coming up. But as far as the sanctions stuff, it's all over, and it all ended with a little golf and tennis. We're going to talk a little golf first because our area has a state champion. After years of making the state tournament, New London senior Taylor Phillips can call herself a Class 1A state golf champion. I was there on Thursday. If you watched Newsbreak on Thursday, you saw going up to Marshalltown, and I see Taylor Phillips shoot a 73 on day one, which put her 3 strokes ahead of the field. And the New London senior hung on the next day. We didn't know if we were going to get a day 2 of golf, and it turned out that they did get to play through the rain. She shoots a 76 to end up at a 149, 2 strokes above Mount Air's Jaylee Schaefer at 151. And those two were way ahead of the rest of the field. Schaefer was actually 12 strokes ahead of third place and 17 strokes ahead of fourth place. So it was a 2-horse race individually. And of course, we had 2 teams up there, New London and Highland. Highland had started day 2 in second place. They got second place after a strong day 1. They'd shot 367. They were 4 shots above BCLUW. BCLUW jumps Highland on day 2 by 1 stroke. Highland shoots 741. BCLUW shoots 140. Champions were Easton Valley. And then New London was actually 6th place despite Taylor Phillips. They were in 6th place leading after day 1. And day 2, the rest of the crew stepped up big time. They shed 10 strokes off of their total despite the worse weather. Shot 750 to pass both East Buchanan and Akron Westfield. They get 4th place. A few standouts for both teams. New London was led by on day 1. They were led by Addison Prossman, who shot an 85. Danica Kraus was at a 90. And then on day on day 1, this is more accurate. Day 1, Danica Kraus was the leader at 88. Addison Prossman at 90. Kelsey Cerny 94 and Haley Sands 95. Those are their day 1 scores. It all resets in day 2 as far as team scores. On day 2, Addison Prossman was their top scorer with an 85. Danica Kraus 90. Kelsey Cerny at 97, and then Emerson Schultz comes in, and she's their 4th scorer at 102, although Sands also got 102. Only the top 4 of the 6 are scorers, and Adeline Krotz shot a 103 and a 106, respectively. Didn't score either day for the Huskies. And New London, which finished 9 strokes behind the Huskies overall. Highland had beaten New London in the regionals, but 2 of the top 4 teams here obviously coming from our region. Phillips shot a 76 in day 1, or 73 in day 1, like I said. Sophie Millot was number 2 on day 1, 91. Emma Busby 105, and Sydney Kratt shot a 111. The next day, Phillips and Millot 76 and 93. Emma Busby goes 94, and Caitlin Allen stepped up to be the 4th scorer on day 2 with a 107. Stevie Wintermeyer shot 113, 114. She was actually 5th on the team both times. No 4th places and no 6th places. And for and that was New London and Highland. Now, that was not the only tournament that we had golfers in, because we had Mid Prairie in Class 2A. And while we have a couple of top 4s in Class 1A, the Mid Prairie Golden Hawks take top 5. They shoot a 732, which was good enough for 5th place. They weren't even close to 4th or 6th. They were 16 strokes behind 4th place, and they were a whole 20 points above 6th place. Sumner Fredericksburg does win that with a 674. Mid Prairie was led overall by a couple of girls who jumped into the top. One that jumped into the top 15 was Gabby Robertson. She goes 169, 84 on day 1, 85 on day 2. Also for Mid Prairie, we've got down here, we've got Olivia Schwarzentrooper takes 35th at 186. Morgan Bender, 188. Maddie Davidson, 191. So you see those are their 3 scorers there, although this girl, Addison English, went 99 and 99 for 198. She was a scorer on day 2. So each day their 4 score was pretty close to their other scores, which is why they fared so well. Elliot Diebler goes 102 and 100 to shoot 202. So they all had pretty good scores. Very consistent showing for Mid Prairie. We also had a little state tennis going on in the girls' state tennis tournament. Jana Asanta, a Mount Pleasant player by way of Winfield Mount Union, by way of Spain, just outside of Barcelona. She competes in her first high school state tennis tournament. Of course, she's a foreign exchange student. She won't be here next year, so probably first and only here in the States. Day 1, dominant, 6-0, 6-4 over her first opponent, 6-1, 6-2 over her second. That put her in the semifinals against the number 1 player in the class, Gabriella Fleming from Xavier. Fleming does knock out Asanta 2-0, 6-0, 6-0 in the 2 games. And then Asanta played a pretty competitive match with 4-time state qualifier from Pella, Emily Blom, and she falls 6-3, 6-3 in that one. A two-set loss, so Asanta got fourth. And then on the other side, Ishida Mukadam went 1-1 in the winner's bracket on day one. She had a 7-5, 6-3 win in her first, and then she actually played Blom Lock 6-0, 6-0 to push her to the consolation bracket. Goes all the way through it, knocks out a girl from Dyke New Hartford that Asanta had played, knocks out Appleton Parkersburg girl. There were two Appleton Parkersburg girls who made this tournament, and Mukadam beat both of them, and she ends up winning the fifth place match, 6-0 to 6 and 6-3, I believe. So she gets fifth, which means our area got a fourth and a fifth at the Class 1A Girls State Tournament. So congratulations to those guys. We had a pair in the doubles, Real Tunska Ross and Aparajita Cholera of Maharishi. They fell in both of their games. They lost 6-0, 6-0 to eventual runner-up from Xavier. And then they fell in the consolation bracket to a team from Osage. Sorry, Spirit Lake. I guessed there while I was clicking it. On the boys' side, this happened last week. Ruben Luau from Pella, who is a Maharishi student, Ruben Luau from Fairfield, who is a Maharishi student. He won his first game over in the Class 1A Singles Championship against Council Bluffs Lewis Central's kid. In the second round, he played against Pella's number one player, who is also the number one player in the entire tournament and was the eventual Class 1A state champion. He falls in that one and then battles all his way all the way back, just like Mukadam and the girls. He beats another Pella kid 6-2, 6-0, beats a Kimber Catholic kid 6-3, 6-3, and ends up in the fifth place match. He does fall in that one to a player from Sergeant Bluff Luton. It was a close one, 7-5, 6-4. So Ruben Luau finishes sixth. This is his junior season. So of those three singles players that are have potential to come back, Mukadam was a senior on the girls' side. Asanta is a foreign exchange student. So Luau will be our only returner next year from the singles tournament at state. And that's all we have for spring sports. We do have some summer sports tonight, including the SEC openers. Washington coming down to Mount Pleasant for a baseball and softball doubleheader, and Fairfield is headed south to Fort Madison. So baseball and softball really getting underway now. Conference stuff beginning today. Tomorrow, Winfield Mount Union will be at the Field of Dreams playing against Notre Dame. So a lot of important games coming up this week. That's it for the sports report. I'm Andy Krutzinger, and when we come back to Newsbreak, Alex has your obituary.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Hello and welcome back to Newsbreak. It is now time for your obituaries. Beverly Jean Dory Leminski of Fairfield passed away on May 21st at the age of 91. Randy Ray Olson of Washington passed away on May 22nd at the age of 68. Celebration of Life services will be held at 11 a.m. May 30th at the Oregon Township Cemetery. Dora Kalas of Kelowna passed away on May 26th at the age of 94. A funeral service will be held today at 4 p.m. at the Holy Trinity Catholic Church. Teresa Sue Kelly of Burlington passed away on May 23rd at the age of 70. A visitation will be held on May 30th from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. at the Looning Chapel. Roger Brumert of Winfield passed away on May 24th at the age of 61. Visitation will be held on May 31st from 2 p.m. until 4 p.m. at the Snyder and Holleboff Funeral and Cremation Services of Winfield. Patricia Pat Reynard of Kyoto passed away on February 25th at the age of 94. Memorial service will be held at 1 p.m. June 2nd at the Powell Funeral Home in Kyoto. Nancy Jo Turner of Washington passed away on May 21st at the age of 76. Funeral services will be held from 2 p.m. until 4:30 p.m. June 8th at the Jones and Newton Funeral Home in Washington. That is your news to Southeast Iowa. I've been your host, Alex Snyder. This has been your news break, and I will see you next time.